Welcome to Fantasy Sports Addicts Anonymous. My name is Tom. I'm a fantasy sports addict.
My name is Ryan.
Howdy, Ryan.
And I too am a fantasy sports addict.
Ryan.
Tom.
Are you ready?
For some football!
Fantasy football. It's finally fantasy football season. What does that mean?
It means it's time for some football!
It also means it's time to draft.
Well, yeah.
That's the point. Okay, so what do you do if you're like a guy that sucks at fantasy football, or you never played fantasy football before? What if you're like, I heard all about this fantasy football,
so fantasy football
play
for a beginner, maybe you're in a work league, you're just kind of getting into it.
Right.
What do you do? How do you win your league?
How do you win a fantasy football league? If you're new guy.
If you're a new guy, how do you win your fantasy football league? Like, what's some beginner tips?
The first thing you should do, obviously, is make sure you draft a team you're going to want to pay attention to all season. Okay? It's all what? How many games is it? I'm a new guy. I don't know. How many games is it? You got to pay attention.
16 games.
16 games.
There's one bye week, but...
Well, all right. So you got a bye week for play. Don't worry about the bye weeks. You're new, right?
Right.
So how does the season work? Well, there's a few weeks of playoffs that are actually part of the regular season for the regular NFL season. So depending on how your league is, how deep it is, right? There's probably the last few weeks of the season. Those are probably your playoff weeks in that league. So you got to pay attention to what that is. What are the playoffs? What are the settings of this league?
Well, that's the crux of it.
First thing.
Pay attention to your league settings. Like, understand, the different rosters and the players that you got to pick to fill them.
Is it a PPR league?
Exactly. I was going to say the scoring system.
Right.
Like, what is a PPR league?
Points per reception.
Okay. And so usually it's either a 0.5 or a point, but...
Changes the
scorings, but if you look at the rosters you can kind of see how many points people get based on that said scoring.
So you do a little bit of draft research. You make sure you get the team you want. You make sure you get players you like. Okay. If you're really new to football, maybe you don't follow every team, or you don't follow football fanatically, but you just have your team. My team's the Cardinals, right?
Right.
You just kind of like pick a few guys you like, so you're staying interested the whole season. Okay? And after that, what are you going to
do? Be active. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
You got to pay attention to what's going on. Okay, so you've paid attention to how the league's set up. You went to the draft. You drafted players you love. Now you're staying active. Anytime there's an injury or a guy gets bumped up the depth chart, football is very much about next man up. When there's injuries or inefficient players, whoever the guy is below that player on the depth chart, that's the guy you want to go pick up. And usually you got to be paying attention to the waiver wire.
Well, that also goes back to the understanding your league rules and settings. Like, is it once the games start, it goes in a waiver wire effect and everybody has to put in a claim? Or is it somebody gets injured and you can go out as replacement that second? Different
Big difference.
League settings, yes.
Big difference, okay.
So if it is, it's just you can add, you got to be on top of it, because if you're just waiting until the next day,
you're going to miss them.
They're gone.
Right. So the other thing you're going to have to keep in mind, you're probably not going to win. If this is your very first league, hey, if you win it, good for you. Congratulations. You got beginner's luck. That's cool. A lot of times what you're going to have to hope to do probably is just back it in, just like Charles Barkley. Backing your wing in, beep, 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 backing in. And sometimes you can win a championship that way. I've done it myself. It's fun. And the rest of the time you're flying by the seat of your pants. Just pay attention to the pickups. That's really the main thing.
Well, I mean, that's the thing. If you can make the playoffs, you have a chance, especially later in the season. Good teams are resting their star players, an injury, a bench. You never know. Like, football playoffs seem to be a coin flip a lot of the times.
So as long as you're there, as long as you've been active all season, you should be in the playoffs. All right, good luck. That's great. Is that it? Is that enough?
basically
Stay active. That's the
stay
main thing.
active. Be there for the
Have
draft.
fun.
Fill your lineups, and for the love of God, do not take a kicker or defense until the very end. And I'd also say take a later quarterback. Just fill up on, running backs from wide receivers. Get depth.
Oh yeah, pay attention to ADP. What's ADP? Average draft position.
Based on overall rankings.
You're halfway through the draft, right?
Early on in the drafts, the overall rankings, the ADPs usually stay pretty similar to that. But as you get later, you'll notice people's ranks will go below their average draft position. So those will be possibly your sleeper picks. You might not
Unless
even
they're
know
injured.
who they are.
Right.
But yeah, they might be injured.
Unless they look like they're injured, they got that little injury note next to them. Hey, probably worth reaching. If you don't even know who they are, reach for it. Why not? Try it. At that point in the draft, you're not going to hurt yourself. You're not going to shoot yourself in the foot.
And when it comes to trades, try not to be too aggressive. If you get what looks like a good trade offer to you, it's probably bullshit, and they're trying to fucking do you dry.
Especially week 1 of the season. You don't want to pay for that hot week 1 waiver pickup and trade away your second or third round pick, right?
So be aggressive yet
Smart.
patient and cautious and smart.
Okay.
And have fun. I mean, that's really what
Right,
it's
just have
all
fun.
about.
Go to the draft with
when
your
you
buddies,
draft,
have a
have a
drink,
few drinks,
have some
draft.
paint,
Woo!
whatever. Right?
Yeah.
All right. Hey, fantasy football. I'm ready. I just signed up for a draft myself. You want to get in? You want to jump in?
I'm already in. I beat you to it.
Hey, new draft. High five. That's great. All right. Woo! Okay. Fantasy guys.
Fantasy guys.
Please grant me the serenity to set my ideal lineup, the courage to add drop aggressively, wisdom
As always.
to make good trades.
Man, that was such a sweet curveball, that last pitch. Oh my God, Lucas Giolito.
Watching baseball while we draft football.
We're
Okay.
addicts.
Check out our Fantasy Sports Addicts website, fantasysportsaddicts.com. You can chat with the addicts there. Hit us up on Twitter at letter F, letter S, the word double letter A.
FSAA.
Buy us a beer on
Please,
the YouTube
thank
channel.
you.
Hey, hit the donate button. Thank you. Subscribe to the podcast on iTunes.
And leave a review and you'll get a shout out.
Oh, you can also comment down below and say hi. Thank you.
Woo!
Good luck this year.